Have you ever sat down to a delicious meal, thinking you'd just take a few bites, only to realize minutes later your plate's empty, your stomach feels tight, and you're wondering why you feel so tired? It happens to all of us. Food is comforting, familiar. But as we get older, how we eat, not just what we eat, can play a huge role in how we feel, how much energy we have, and even how long we live. Let me ask you something. Have you ever heard of the 80% eating rule? It's simple, yet powerful. And it's been practiced for centuries in some of the healthiest, longest-living cultures in the world. Especially in Okinawa, Japan, a place famous for having an unusually high number of people who live past 100. Their secret? Among other things, they stop eating when they are about 80% full. Not stuffed. Not even full. Just satisfied. And that's what we're diving into today. How this one small shift in the way you eat can help you live longer, feel lighter, and age with more grace and strength than ever before. It might sound too simple to be true, but trust me, it works. In this video, we're going to talk about how to use this 80% eating rule in your everyday life, why it matters more after 60, and how it can improve everything from your digestion to your brain health. So, let's take it one bite at a time, no pun intended. First, let's talk about what happens when we eat past the point of satisfaction. You know the feeling. Your stomach feels stretched, your body slows down, and instead of feeling energized after a meal, you want to nap. That's not a coincidence. As we age, our metabolism slows down, our digestive system becomes more sensitive, and overeating puts extra pressure on our organs, especially the pancreas, liver, and heart. Now, imagine doing that 2 or 3 times a day for years. It quietly wears your body out. But the beautiful thing is, it's never too late to shift gears. The 80% rule gives your body a break. You eat just enough to nourish yourself, and you stop before the sluggishness sets in. It's like giving your body breathing room. And let's be honest, we're not talking about starving yourself or following some strict, joyless diet. This isn't about counting every calorie or cutting out all your favorite foods. It's about tuning in, slowing down, learning to listen to what your body is saying, instead of letting your eyes or emotions do the decision-making. One of the easiest ways to practice this is simply to eat slower. Have you ever noticed how much more you enjoy a meal when you really take your time? When you chew, savor the flavors, and pause between bites? Your stomach actually takes about 20 minutes to send signals to your brain that it's had enough. But if we eat too fast, we miss those signals, and by the time we feel full, we've already gone too far. Try this sometime. Next time you sit down to a meal, put your fork down between bites. Breathe. Sip some water. Enjoy the conversation if you're dining with someone. And when you start to feel comfortable, not full, not tight, but just pleasantly satisfied, stop. That's your 80%. Now, I know what you might be thinking, but what if I still feel a little hungry? That's okay. That gentle hunger is your body adjusting. And you'll be surprised, within 10 or 15 minutes, that little hunger fades. You won't feel starved. In fact, you'll feel lighter, clearer, and more in control. There's something else that happens when you eat this way. It reconnects you with your food. It brings back appreciation. When you're not rushing through your meals or overeating out of habit, food becomes more than just fuel, it becomes an experience. And that can be deeply satisfying in its own right. For many people over 60, digestion starts becoming more unpredictable. Maybe certain foods don't sit as well. Maybe bloating or heartburn shows up more often. The 80% rule helps reduce those problems simply by giving your digestive system less to process. Your body works smarter, not harder. You'll also find it helps with your energy throughout the day. Instead of that heavy, sleepy feeling after a big meal, you stay light on your feet. You can go for a walk, tend the garden, play with your grandkids, or finish a project without that post-meal slump. It's like giving your body a clean burn instead of flooding it with more than it needs. And it's not just about the body. Research has shown that caloric moderation, eating slightly less than what we're used to, can have powerful effects on the brain. It improves memory, focus, and may even reduce the risk of cognitive decline. Some studies even suggest that eating this way can support better immune function and lower inflammation. And as you probably know, inflammation is at the root of so many health problems as we age. Let me share a little story. A friend of mine, Mary, who just turned 74, started using this 80% rule about a year ago. At first, she said it was strange, not finishing her plate, slowing down her eating. But after a few weeks, she noticed she was sleeping better. Her knees weren't as stiff in the morning. And perhaps the biggest change? She felt proud of herself. Not because she lost weight, though she did drop a few pounds, but because she felt like she was taking care of herself in a way she hadn't in years. It's not about less food, she told me. It's about more respect for my body. Isn't that beautiful? So if this idea is new to you, don't worry. You don't have to be perfect. It's not a rule to follow 100% of the time. It's a mindset, a gentle guide. Start by noticing how you feel during your meals. Ask yourself, am I eating because I'm hungry or just because it's time? Pause halfway through your plate. Listen. You'll be amazed at how much your body already knows if you just give it a chance to speak. And once you start practicing this, it becomes easier and more natural. You'll start noticing your body's quiet cues. You'll feel more in tune with what nourishes you and what doesn't. And honestly, that's the real secret to aging well. Not perfection. Just awareness and kindness to yourself. Let's keep going. Watching and feel that these insights are meaningful. Please type number 2 in the comments to let me know you're still with me. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I warmly invite you to do so, and don't forget to turn on the bell, so you won't miss any of our upcoming videos designed to uplift, inform, and inspire. Your support truly means a lot. It's what keeps us going and allows us to continue sharing thoughtful, helpful content just for you. Now, let's continue this journey together. Now, we've talked about how eating until you're just 80% full can change the way you feel, day by day. But maybe you're still wondering, how exactly do you know when you've hit that sweet 80%? That's where mindful eating steps in. See, in today's world, it's so easy to eat without thinking. The TV is on, we're scrolling through our phones, or we're chatting with someone, and before we know it, the plate is empty, and we didn't even realize we were full 10 bites ago. To really live the 80% rule, you've got to get back in touch with your own body. That means slowing down. I mean really slowing down. Put the fork down between bites. Chew your food, don't just inhale it. When you eat slower, you give your stomach time to send a message to your brain that says, hey, I'm good now. That signal takes about 15 to 20 minutes to travel. So, if you eat too fast, you'll miss it and end up way past 100%. One trick I use is to start every meal with a glass of water and a deep breath. Then, as I eat, I ask myself, am I still hungry or just enjoying the taste? There's nothing wrong with enjoying good food. But when we eat just for taste and not for nourishment, that's when we usually overdo it. Sometimes, all it takes is learning to pause halfway through a meal and just check in with yourself. That tiny moment of awareness can make a huge difference. Another way to honor the 80% rule is to rethink portion sizes altogether. In most restaurants, especially in the US, the servings are way more than what one person needs. So before you even start eating, try boxing up half the plate. At home, use smaller plates and bowls. Your brain sees a full plate and feels satisfied, even if there's less food on it. It's a simple trick, but it works. And you're not depriving yourself. You're just giving your body what it truly needs, and no more. Now, let's talk about what kind of food we're filling that 80% with. Because it's not just how much you eat, but what you eat that makes the difference between feeling light and energized versus heavy and sluggish. Imagine your plate like a fuel tank. If you put in cheap gas, your car won't run well. But if you fill it with high-quality fuel, it purrs. Your body's no different. Whole, unprocessed foods, like vegetables, fruits, whole grains, legumes, and healthy fats, these are your premium fuel. They give you vitamins, minerals, fiber, and long-lasting energy. They don't overload your system, and they don't leave you feeling bloated or drained. You eat them, and your body thanks you for it. On the flip side, processed foods, sugary snacks, fried items, these might be tempting, but they mess with your hunger signals. You can eat a huge bag of chips and still feel hungry. That's because those foods are designed to trick your brain into wanting more, even when your body's had enough. They throw your natural balance out of whack. Here's the good news: you don't have to give up everything you love. The 80% rule isn't about being perfect. It's about being intentional. If you enjoy a little dessert or a favorite comfort dish once in a while, go for it. But let it be the 20%, not the norm. Let your 80% be nourishing, supportive, and kind to your body. And while we're on the topic of kindness, let's not forget your emotional connection to food. As we age, food becomes more than just fuel. It's memory, comfort, and even company. I know for me, certain dishes remind me of Sunday dinners with family or the smell of a warm soup on a rainy afternoon. These experiences are precious. The 80% rule doesn't ask you to give them up. It simply encourages you to enjoy them in a way that doesn't overwhelm your body. Another thing to consider is how your metabolism shifts after 60. Your body doesn't burn calories the same way it used to. Muscle mass decreases, and digestion slows down a bit. That's not bad news, it's just a reminder to eat with more awareness. When you tune in and listen, your body will tell you what it needs. And often, it's less than you think. Let's say you're preparing lunch. Instead of making a giant sandwich with chips and soda, what if you started with a bowl of vegetable soup, added a half sandwich on whole grain bread, and swapped the soda for sparkling water with lemon? You'd still be satisfied, but you'd avoid that heavy, bloated feeling. That's the 80% rule in action. Some people like to say, but if I stop at 80%, I'll be hungry an hour later. That's usually not the case when you're eating high-fiber, high-nutrient foods. They keep you fuller longer. And if you really are hungry later, that's okay. Have a light snack, maybe a handful of nuts or a piece of fruit. You're not punishing your body. You're honoring it. The more you practice this way of eating, the more natural it becomes. You'll find yourself feeling lighter, moving easier, and maybe even sleeping better. It's not a diet, it's a mindset shift. A way of treating your body with the same respect and care you'd give to someone you love. And isn't it time you treated yourself that way? Let's keep going. There's one more part of this journey that we haven't touched on yet, and it might just be the most powerful one of all. Now, if you've ever felt like every meal had to end with a completely clean plate, maybe even a second helping just out of habit, you're not alone. That mindset has been passed down through generations, especially during times when food wasn't always guaranteed. Many of us were raised not to waste a single grain of rice or crumb of bread. But here's the truth: today, eating beyond what your body truly needs can quietly chip away at your health. Especially as we get older, the impact of those extra bites becomes more noticeable on our energy, our weight, and even our sleep. Let's pause and reflect on something simple but powerful. Fullness isn't the same as satisfaction. Think about that meal you really enjoyed. Maybe it was a fresh bowl of soup with warm bread, or your favorite homemade stew. Often, the first few bites are the best. That's when your body's truly hungry, and everything tastes richer. But after a point, we stop eating because we're hungry and keep eating because it's there, or because we don't want to offend someone who cooked for us, or because it just feels like the right thing to do. But if we can gently retrain ourselves to recognize that sweet spot, when we feel nourished but not stuffed, that's where the magic happens. That's the heart of the 80% rule. One tip that many people find helpful is to slow down at mealtime. Take a breath between bites. Put your fork down now and then. Let your body catch up with your plate. Did you know it takes about 20 minutes for your brain to receive the signal that you're full? That means if you rush through your food, you might pass the 80% mark before your brain has a chance to speak up. But if you eat with awareness, you'll likely notice you feel satisfied well before that can't move feeling kicks in. Another simple yet surprisingly effective trick is to use smaller plates. It may sound silly, but our eyes often guide our appetite more than our stomachs. When you serve your meal on a big dinner plate, it looks like there's not much food, so your brain says, "I'll need more." But if you put that same amount on a smaller plate, your mind sees abundance. It's a subtle shift that can help you naturally align with the 80% rule without even thinking too hard about it. And here's something most people don't talk about enough: how you feel after you eat matters just as much as how you feel during. Have you ever noticed that after a big, heavy meal, you feel sluggish, maybe even irritable? You might need a nap, or your digestion feels off. Now compare that to how you feel when you eat just enough, light, steady, maybe even energized. That difference isn't just in your head. Your body is telling you something important. Listening to it is one of the greatest gifts you can give yourself as you age. Now, for those of you thinking, "But what if I don't eat enough?" Remember, this isn't about eating less than your body needs. It's about stopping before you're overly full. It's about giving your digestive system the space it needs to work efficiently and keeping your metabolism humming smoothly. As we get older, our metabolism naturally slows a bit. We don't need as many calories as we used to, but we still need plenty of nutrients. So the focus shifts from how much can I eat to how well can I nourish my body with what I eat. That's why the 80% rule works best when paired with nutrient-dense foods. Think leafy greens, colorful vegetables, whole grains, lean proteins, and healthy fats. These foods not only fill you up more efficiently, but they also keep your body running strong. You'll find that when your meals are full of real, wholesome ingredients, reaching the 80% mark feels natural, not forced. And perhaps the most beautiful part of all this is how much it puts you back in touch with your body. So many people over 60 have shared with me that they spent decades ignoring their hunger cues, eating on autopilot, or forcing themselves to follow diets that didn't feel right. But the 80% rule isn't a diet. It's a gentle reminder to eat in a way that honors your body. It gives you back a sense of control, without any guilt or restriction. Just imagine this: you sit down to a lovely lunch, maybe with a friend or on your own with a good book. You savor every bite. You smile. You stop eating when you feel good, not overly full. And then you get up, go about your day, and feel light, energized, and proud of the choice you made, not because you followed a rule, but because you listened to your body. That's not just healthy eating, that's a healthier life. One choice, one meal, one bite at a time. Now, I want you to know this: it's never too late to make this change. Whether you're 60, 70, 80, or beyond, your body is always listening. And when you start tuning in, really tuning in, amazing things can happen. You may find yourself sleeping better, moving easier, even smiling more. Food becomes a joy again, not a source of guilt or confusion. So if this idea speaks to you, if the 80% rule feels like something worth trying, why not start today? Maybe at your next meal, just pause, check in with your body, and ask yourself, do I feel satisfied? Not full, not stuffed, just satisfied. And if the answer is yes, go ahead and set that fork down with a little pride. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. Have you tried this approach before? Or maybe you've already been eating this way without even realizing it. Share your experiences in the comments below. I read them all, and you never know who you might inspire with your story. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing for more tips on staying strong, independent, and joyful at every age. Every little bit of support helps this community grow, and I'm so grateful to have you here. Until next time, remember, it's not about eating less, it's about living more. Here's to your health, your wisdom, and the beautiful journey ahead. You've got this. Thank you for spending time with us today. We'd love to hear your thoughts. Leave a comment below and share one thing you learned from this video and how you plan to apply it in your life. Your insights mean a lot to us and give us the motivation to keep spreading positivity and practical advice. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it with someone you care about. Your support truly helps us continue creating meaningful content that informs, inspires, and uplifts. Thanks for watching, and we look forward to seeing you in the next video.